Hello, I'd like to share with you another improvisational device which you can use to augment and reharmonize your hymns at the organ. The 2/5 progression is ubiquitous in all of our music. Take the popular standard Satindal, which is just filled with 2/5s. Another song, another standard is Lover, which is 2/5 progressions descending chromatically. Teachers would better serve their students by teaching them the circle of fourths rather than the circle of fifths, because that's how we hear our music. For instance, C leads to F, and F leads to B flat leads to E flat, and so on with all of our other chords. And that's the circle of fourths. So teachers, don't teach your students the fifths, teach them the circle of fourths. So the first thing you need to do is get this progression into your hands. You need to learn it over every chord. For instance, the 2/5 of C is D, G, C, so you need to learn. And the same thing in the key of D. Same thing in the key of E flat and F. And you also need to learn this descending. So for those of you who are unclear what a 2/5 is, our scales are numbered. So in the key of C, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the 2 would be the D, and the 5 would be the G. And 2s, as I said, lead to 5s, and 5s lead to 1. Or in the circle of fourths, not the circle of fifths. So the way to apply this is, after you learn your sequences of 2/5s, when you're playing a hymn, you've got to find ways to use a sequence of 2/5s to get to your target point. So let's say I want to play a C chord, and I have 4 beats to get there. One of the common places to start would be on the third. I generally look for the third first of all. So I would play, instead of playing a C, I would play the E, and then A, because that's the 2/5, and then a D, and then a G, because that's a 2/5, and then the 1. So in order to get to a C, I'd start on the E and go. You don't always have to start on the third. As I said, you can start on the minor third. You can start on the fourth. And one of my favorite places to start is the flat fifth. And so let's take this and apply it to a few hymns. The first hymn, Joyful, Joyful. Let me put it in the key of G. That's the key it's written in most hymn books. And already I can see, I can apply the 3-6-2-5-1 progression right here in the first bar. So the song is written, but we can start on the third and go 3-6-2-5-1, or I'm sorry, 2-5-2-5-1, which again is the circle of fourths, not the circle of fifths. So instead of playing, we would play, and in the second bar you can repeat the exact same thing. The third bar which was starting on the flat fifth, and the next bar is actually a G7 leading down to a C. So how can we get to the C? Well, we can go a third higher and go. So instead of playing, we can start on the E and go. And the same thing coming to the next bar. Instead of playing the G and D7 back to the G, you can start on the flat fifth and go. It's very, very simple. This is also a way to kind of play a cocktail style with the hymns. And you can, because it's all built right in there. B, E, A, D, G. And you can work inner voices in there also. But having a knowledge of music theory is very important. Knowing your 13ths and 11ths and 9ths and raised 9ths and flat 9ths and things like that. Because that's all these are. Right here is, let's see, that's the 13th, raised 5th, raised 9th, to a 9th, 13th, raised 5th, 9th, flat 9th. So it takes a little bit of homework, and you need to figure all that out. It's not something I can tell you. I mean, I can tell you and you can apply it, but it's better for you to figure it all out for yourself. Let's take another hymn. And again, that was starting on the third. And then I jumped up to the flat fifth and went. And again, that's the circle of fourths. Another popular song that Protestant organists play every Sunday is the Doxology, and you could do the same thing on the Doxology here. Instead of playing the G, D, G, since G is the target, go up to the third and do a 2-5-2-5-1. You can also put the cocktail style into that. Same thing. The progressions don't always have to go down. They can also ascend. One of my favorite songs is Prayer of St. Francis. Now here, it's a C going to a D minor, and another way to get to the D minor, you can of course go down, but a lot of times I will take it from the C and drop down to a B, B, E, B flat, E flat, and E flat is right above the D. And here, many organists will just kind of sit on the G7th, which can be quite boring. So another way to fill that in is to look at your target chord. The next chord is going to be a D minor. And so look for a way to get to the D minor. Again, you can go up and work your way down, or you can just go up a little bit and work your way up. And that's one of the things I like to do is, instead of playing the G7th, is play an E flat minor, A flat, and then go up to the E minor, A, because A is a 5 to the D. So A7 will lead to D. So that's how something would sound ascending. Same thing with the bridge. As you finish the verse to Prayer of St. Francis, we're in the key of C, and we're supposed to go up to the F. So how do we get to the F? Well, you can ascend up by using, again, you just go to the third. A, D, G, C, F. So that's another way to use this to get around the chord progressions. You may also use this as an interlude device. And it can also be used as a key change device, as I just did here. I also use it. I did a video on false modulations. I'll try to remember to put a link to it on this video. But you could use it to trick your congregation into think you're changing keys. Even if you are changing keys, most of the time, well, always, organists should transpose up as they change keys to hymns. But if you ever find that you need to transpose down, you could use this device to fake the congregation into thinking they are going up. For instance, so we're now in the key of G flat, and we started in the key of G, and it kind of sounded like we went up. You could use it to stay in the same key you're in. And we're still in the key of G. This device is a great way to add texture to your hymn playing. And now that you know it, I would advise that you use it sparingly because, as I said before, hymns belong to the congregation, and organists should do their best to keep out of the way of the congregation singing. If you have a congregation that doesn't sing well, chances are that it may be your fault. Well, it's not really your fault. It's the fault of your teacher and the teacher before them and the teacher before them, because teachers teach what they are taught. And a lot of times, once they learn a certain way to articulate hymns, they just keep teaching the same method or the same procedure to articulate. But you really can't do that because every organ is different. Every congregation is different. The action of every organ is different. The registration choices are different. The acoustics in every church is different. The pipe or speaker placement is different. Organists should take lessons in the churches that they play at. For instance, if you take lessons in a church with a 4-second delay, your teacher will probably teach you how to articulate in that particular space. But then if you go home to your church, which is dead with no reverberation, those lessons will not serve you or your congregation very well. The same thing, the opposite is true too. If you take lessons in a church that's dead with no reverberation, but go back to a church with a 4-second delay, then again, the lessons won't serve you. Or if your teacher has never played in a church with a 4-second delay, or if they've never been taught how to play in a church with a 4-second delay. So take your lessons in the church that you play at. So if your congregation is not singing, there is a solution to that. You can take a 4-week vacation, turn the organ off, and get a singer to lead the congregational singing a cappella and unamplified. And when you come back, I guarantee that your congregation will sing twice as well. And when you start to accompany them, they'll sing 4 times as well. So these little tools are great ways to improve your musical ability. But just keep in mind that our task is to be pastoral musicians, not show-offs. So again, use them sparingly and tastefully. Good luck. I hope this video is helpful, and you can look forward to several more using other techniques and devices to augment your improvisation or reharmonization of hymns. Thank you.